Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen, to MBR, or as we like to call it around here, Nothing But Rants, the show where I find topics that I'm oddly passionate about and I pontificate upon them. These are not hot takes, but rather takes that I'm hot about. What's up? You really like that?
Let's shut up and grind some tape.
What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Happy Sunday to you. I want to give a quick shout out to start. If you're like watching us on YouTube and you're like, what the heck is he doing on a Sunday doing show? JD Piquel, friend of the show, was on Instagram yesterday scrolling for some content. And I see my man JD Piquel doing his little Instagram like day in the life thing. First of all, didn't realize you were that big of a celebrity. Shouts out to you. That's dope as hell. Couldn't imagine. Second of all, he made a comment. He said, hey, the thing about this industry, first of all, it should have said this off the rip, noticeable work ethic. So when I see other dudes grinding, it makes me oddly competitive. So I'm like, I hear him say, hey, the thing about our industry, if you're not dumping out opinions and getting to work on Sunday, then you kind of lost, right? You kind of lost. And I thought, hey, you know what? Just at me next time, bro, because I'm finna get up and tomorrow morning, we finna get after it. We're gonna get after it. We're gonna do a little Sunday reactions, dump the notebook kind of deal for the audience. And yeah, stayed up till about 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning last night, jotting down some notes. I got some good opinions. We're not gonna cover all of it because we got a ton of stuff to cover during the week. But no, figured we'd give you additional little content here, old school fashion. Just me, none of the homies in the studio, just ripping off some notes here in the the Film Guy Network studio. So make sure you're hitting that thumbs up button. Make sure you're liking, subscribing, rating, reviewing, all that good stuff. Georgia obviously didn't play today or this weekend, so this will be a national only hour. I think I'm going to leave this to basically my thoughts of like all of college football rundown here on Sunday morning. So if you're a fan of college football or if you're a fan of football in general, make sure you're chilling out with us here on Sundays and just watching it, maybe not watching us live, but watching us on rewatch. So if you're watching us on rewatch, I appreciate you for being here. Make sure you are hitting that thumbs up button. Hey, let's start off with the biggest football game of the weekend. Big noon kickoff out there in Columbus, Ohio. Ohio State versus Penn State. Ohio State obviously comes out with the dub here, 20-12. Controlled this football game defensively throughout this football game for 4 quarters. And I think that's where the analysis should start and really should end, right? JT Tuimoloau and this defense are exceptional. We've been talking about this on the network pretty much all season leading up to this football game about how, hey, this is a defensive-led football team. Like, say what you want, jokes about Ryan Day, all this stuff. This really is a tough team. Like, this is actually a team that can line up, play with you on the line of scrimmage defensively, get after the quarterback, cover you, strike you, or got a lot of team speed on the defensive side of the football. And guess what? They're filled with a bunch of highly touted football players on that side of the ball, and they've really developed. Tommy Eichenberg and the other, I'm blanking on the other one, the corner that's actually from Blessed Trinity down here in the state of Georgia, number 22. They have exceptional leadership and, veteran presence at that linebacker core as well. So they rallied to the football really, really well. And here's the deal about this football game particularly, because going into it, I picked Penn State to win this game based off the fact that I thought they were extremely limited, that being Ohio State, in the run game, okay, and at quarterback. I thought they didn't necessarily have exceptional quarterback play coming to this football game. And, hey, I think we were kind of right. We were right with the analysis, but we were wrong in multiple aspects. We're going to talk about those here in a second, but I want to talk about just, hey, like the game plan against Ohio State from other opponents has kind of been obvious early on in the season. Like I talked about it last week. When I see Purdue walking out and playing man coverage against you, dude, like they're not afraid of what you can do through the air anymore. Like that's Purdue doing it to you. So obviously you knew Penn State was going to come out here and play a lot of man coverage as well and try to get after the quarterback. They did exactly that. And Kyle McCord looked extremely rattled throughout this football game. And that was our analysis. I said, hey, look, man, Ohio State's got a problem because they are very, very one-dimensional right now. And they're kind of getting helped out with an extremely creative and adaptive run game. Like, they do a lot of great stuff to help out a banged-up unit without TreVeyon Henderson. All that being said, Penn State, no slappies against the run, right? They got a lot of really good defensive players, and they can rally and tackle the football, right? So they were going to be able to somewhat limit that run game from Ohio State. We saw that throughout the first quarter. But here's where I was wrong. And this is going to sound real stupid, but I forgot about Marvin Harrison Jr. And I didn't forget about Marvin Harrison Jr. and the fact that he was the best wide receiver in the sport of college football. But I did forget about the fact that, oh, shit, wide receivers can still, like, take over football games, particularly with coordinators that have an ability to get them open no matter what. Like, if you watched that football game on Saturday and didn't come away with 2 points, one, JT Tuimoloau, defense great. Two, Marvin Harrison should be in the running for the Heisman contention and is one of the best, if not the best non-quarterback, it may be best player in all of college football because he could go out and win football games like that. Like, yeah, they had a great defense, but offensively, the only way they moved the football was with Marvin Harrison for 4 quarters. So, yeah, we were right. The analysis was right. We were wrong because we just forgot. We forgot that they could win a football game basically 20-9 and all 20 points be created via Marvin Harrison Jr. And you can say, oh, well, why didn't they double team him? Well, they tried. Well, why didn't they stop that little drag route? Well, they didn't try hard enough, okay? And we don't normally do film study around here when we don't have people, but I got to try this. Oh, wait. I don't have a microphone, so I can't do it. Anyways, we don't have the lab them. Dude, that drag route was killing them all day long. They were just releasing Marvin Harrison Jr. underneath the line of scrimmage or close to it, getting a lot of rubs, right? And then getting him some yards after the catch with the ball in his hand. Now, never once did Ohio State do anything like drop a defensive end, okay, opposite of Marvin Harrison. What I have noticed about Ohio State, it's just watching them over the years, okay, when they have particularly one great wide receiver, if they line them up in the slot, guys, they're running an out. He's running towards the grass. I'm here to tell you. If they line him up outside, okay, and they can't get him open because you're playing too much man coverage, they're going to drag him. They're going to run his ass right at the feet of the defensive line. They're going to make you bump and run and fight through all the mesh and all the garbage, and they're going to get him open. Okay, that's exactly what they did Saturday. So I think you have to credit not only Marvin Harrison for being a great football player, but you also have to credit that offensive staff, okay, for being able to manufacture touches at a spot that shouldn't be able to manufacture touches for, particularly when Emeka Ibuka's out. And y'all don't like Cade Stover's great. I don't worry about him. I would never worry about him. If I was a defensive coordinator, hell no. We would cover that guy with whatever we needed to cover him with, and then we would just lock in on Marvin Harrison Jr. Everybody has that game plan. They still find ways to get him open. And here's the other thing before we get to Penn State about Ryan Day. JT Tuimoloau, Marvin Harrison Jr., okay, all of the key, like, big-time football players for that guy, man, say what you want. He lands 5 stars. He develops 5 stars. He features 5 stars. And he wins football games with them. Dude, I'm here to tell you right now, I don't need you to win national titles to tell you you're a top 5 football coach if you do that. If you recruit at a top 5 level, okay, and you produce statistically like this, and all of a sudden you become you figure out the defensive side of the football, bro, we have no more questions about you except for what happens in December and January. That's the only question we got left. And guess what? We have that question about 99% of the sport. It's like 3 guys that have multiple championships. The rest of them were like, they might have got lucky that one time, right? It's Kirby Smart, it's Nick Saban, it's Dabo Swinney. Outside of that, everybody got questions in January. So if we're going to do that, what are we really doing? All right. He's goofy. The internet stuff's weird. The Lou stuff was weird. The tough team was weird. All right. Everything is weird. Dude balls out. The hair dye, weird. All right. There's weird stuff, but the dude knows how to coach football. As for Penn State, again, we were right on the Ohio State analysis. My God, I did not expect Drew Allar to look like that. That was bad. That was like, and never once did they do anything to make him get comfortable or allow him to get comfortable. I thought there was a lot of, man, y'all really gonna let Mans do some progressive reading right here on the road against one of the nation's best defenses. Like, that's what y'all doing right now. Y'all are making what is essentially a first-year starter. Not essentially, he is a first-year starter stand in there, process reads, go through all of the like click, click, click. No easy money. None. There was no easy money for Penn State and Drew Aller on Saturday. Okay. Everything was really, really hard and difficult, and he was patting the ball, and it just never once looked settled, never once looked confident. So yeah, the question out of that football game for me is Ohio State's defense good enough? Is Marvin Harrison Jr. great enough to beat Michigan with just those two factors? Because that's what it is. It's Ohio State defense plus Marvin Harrison Jr. That's the game. Or as, you know, the internet so lovingly calls him now, Maserati Marv. I'm sure you guys love that one. On to the next one. Make sure you hit that thumbs up button, like, subscribe, rate, reviewing. Let's get on to this Tennessee-Alabama game. Alabama obviously wins 34-20. Look, Alabama had 111 rushing yards in their first 3 drives of the second and a half while completely suffocating Tennessee's run game. Okay. Then they had the fumble return for a touchdown with about 8 minutes left in the game. But honestly, to a man, if you just watched this football game and just studied it and looked at it and just and watched it and then box score scouted it, you'd be like, damn, those football teams are oddly similar. Those football teams are very, 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 very similar, right? Those football teams are defensive oriented. Those football teams require offensive success on the ground to have any aspects of success. Those teams also ask their quarterbacks to throw at, near, or behind the line of scrimmage and then bombs away. That's it. No in-betweens. Now, you know, might have a hitch here, might have a comeback here, might have a slant here. Every once in a while. No. It's either throw it 5 yards, throw it 55 yards. And if you don't hit those throw it 55 yards, we probably going to lose today. So let's go make sure we do that. Oh, by the way, without turning the ball over. Okay, so when I watched yesterday's football game, I was like, damn, those two teams are very, very similar in how they are created. They are defense, havoc-based, can't protect their quarterback a little bit indecisive, okay, and a lot of lack of continuity between him and his weapons, all right, and they rely solely on running the ball and defense, okay? So I want to do one thing, first of all. Credit Nick Saban for a couple things. Down 20-7. You come back from that football game without a football team that can really throw the ball successfully and consistently without worrying about turning the ball over. You did something. That football team never panicked. That football team never worried. They just kept chopping. Like all that cliche shit just kept on chopping. Also credit Nick Saban for morphing his football team into something that's going to be devilish come December and January. All right, look, whether or not you beat Alabama this time of the year is all good, fine, and dandy, but it's going to hurt. I'm telling you right now, for 4 quarters, you're going to get leaned on, and they're going to try to lean on you. And you're either going to walk away from them because they can't score, all right, and you beat them like 28-10, all right, or you get into one of these ball games, and it's just brutal. It's brutalized. Like these football teams were very, very even to me. And again, if you beat this Alabama football team, it's going to hurt. The defense is swarming. All right. Now, I know Joe Milton did some good things Saturday, and he protected the football and all that good stuff. But defense for both of these football teams. But this football game, beside like Alabama being able to run the football successfully, the second half adjustments, they obviously cleaned some things up. They won the middle 8. Right? They won the last 4 minutes of the half. They won the second, the first 4 minutes of the second half. Definitely won the third quarter for sure. So you do those things. Hats off to coaching. You know, you stop what they're doing to you offensively. You start to have success offensively. That's coaching, right? That's 100%. Hats off to Nick Saban. Hats off to morphing your identity back into this football team. You know, and taking 8 or 9 weeks to like be comfortable, and y'all look comfortable, okay? Y'all have an identity about your football program. But to me, man, losses like this is about Tennessee to me. And I'll just put it this way. Josh Heupel has mediocre quarterback play at best, all right? His best wide receiver weapon is like 5'10", and he's really, really fast, but it is what it is. Like, he's really, really fast, and that's about it. But, like, they have a bunch of guys that like Brew McCoy's ankle broke, surgery done, right? The Dante Thornton transfer from Oregon. You probably didn't even remember that name because that's kind of how it's been this year for them with him. So they've lost a lot of weaponry They've lost a ton of quarterback play, okay, and continuity between the two units, all right? And despite all of that, Mans was down 7, okay, with 8 minutes left to go in the fourth quarter, and jumped out to a 13-0 lead, and jumped out to a 20-7 lead, okay, and overcame. We could do all the penalty stuff, but like overcame some pretty significant penalties in this football game as well, and managed to have a shot on the road. And this is a good football team that is defensive based. And by the way, has dudes all over the roster. All right, all over the roster. You watch Tennessee play on Saturday and you watch that defensive front six and you're like, oh shit, that's an SEC football team. That's an SEC football team, like a really good SEC football team on the defensive side of the football. And here's why it's important to me. Because when they made this hire, when they made this Josh Heupel hire, people like me, you know what we said? Never will have a defense. That'll be cute. That'll be cute. That'll be really, really cute. Y'all will have fun. Y'all will score points. Y'all will never have a defense. You will be a very one-sided program. That's what everybody thought. At least that's what I thought, because that's what they are. They are a offense based off of great quarterback play and great decision-making, okay? Also based off like pace, space, and the gadgets. This isn't a conference of gadgets. We've never seen gadget football teams win this conference. It's been a conference of physicality and defense and running the football and controlling the line of scrimmage. Tennessee is finding ways to play in tight football games against really good football programs with that recipe, okay, in year 3 of Josh Heupel. I did not expect that. And if you are sitting here saying you did, you're probably lying. All right, you're probably lying. So I think we got to give some hats off to Tennessee in that football game. Gonna keep rattling off here. We got some super chats in there. We'll handle those at the end of the show. I got to keep going. I promised my wife I'd try to keep this one short. Hey, real quick on this one. If that Ole Miss and Auburn game don't look exactly like that Georgia and Auburn game, I mean, Spider-Man meme. If you watch that, I mean, it's the same exact. You just looked at it, same exact football game. Okay, 28-21. Ole Miss escapes that one. Now, Lane Kiffin. We talked about it this week. We told you had to win this week just because I needed to see you win a football game like this. All right. I needed to see you beat a football team and win a game that you're supposed to win, even though it's at Jordan-Hare, even though it's at night, even though that place got all kind of voodoo. All right. We understand that Lane Kiffin did what he was supposed to do this weekend. Let's go on to the absolute. I mean, I ain't never felt so good about some money in my life. Never felt so safe about some money in my life as I did Iowa, Minnesota under 30. Holy shit, what an easy play. What an easy play. Okay, this game ends up 12-10. Iowa, whatever. You're going to talk about shouldn't have been a fair catch, whatever. I'm here to tell you, don't run over to the ball doing this. Don't run over to the ball doing this, because guess what you're doing? You look like you're calling a fair catch. Also, you're screaming poison. So if you pick that ball up and you run off, you did something you ain't supposed to be doing. And if it gets blown dead, it got blown dead because you were running over there screaming poison, waving your arm around. All right, so that's my first thought. My second thought, holy smokes, Deacon Hill is living my dream. Have you seen this Iowa quarterback? Deacon Hill, my mans, I love you. I love you. I wish I were you. Honestly, if I could die, be reincarnated, I love my life. I want Deacon Hills. 6'3", 260 pounds, rotund, out here throwing it 28 times for his home state, Iowa Hawkeyes. 28 chunkers from the chunker. You know what I mean? Deacon Hill, Google him. You're my hero. I want to be you, sir. I want to be you. Also think I throw it better than you. So there's that. But anyways, yeah, that was stone cold lock. Mine, total over under 30. If you jumped right on it. Yes, sir. Shouts out to Minnesota for winning that absolute slobber knocker of a football game. Iowa's offense, just absolutely dreadful to watch, as you guys would know. It's not just dreadful because it's like, oh, you know they're going to run the ball and it's going to be like 12 pass tips. No, the route concepts make me want to throw up. We'll leave it at that. Despite all that, Minnesota's quarterback play might be worse. That's the crazy part, because Minnesota actually designs offense. Like, say what you want about PJ Fleck running a Colt and rowing the boat and all that good stuff and making people stand up and clap when he walks in the room, all that weird stuff. Dude knows how to design offense. Like they're conceptually solid. Just quarterback play is up and down. Hey, that's that Oklahoma I know, baby. That's that Oklahoma I know, dog. Looking up, 11 o'clock local kick. Hell, maybe 10 o'clock local kick. I don't know how the Midwestern time zones work. Look up, Nooner's on, and UCF's just out here just, I'm about to kill him. I'm about to just kill these national title hopes, dog. That is Oklahoma football. Now, shouts out UCF finally playing like I thought they were going to play all year. If you turn UCF tape on, you're like, no way they don't have a Big 12 win. Zero chance. Now, I know Plumlee's been up and down. Like he's been hurt and all that good stuff, but defensively, bro, they are big, long, fast at the defensive backfield, okay? They got a good, solid run game. Plumlee's out there chunking it. Javon Baker's an NFL football player. Like, UCF, I don't know. I have no idea how they don't have a Big 12 win, except for the fact that Plumlee's been hurt most of the year. I get that. But Oklahoma, you did it. You finally did it. I've been waiting to look up at 1:30 and realize y'all was in a sweater against Tulane. I've just been waiting for it. And it finally happened. So we're good. Good on you, by the way, for actually coming out on top of that football game. All jokes aside, that's what champions do, right? Champions find a way to win or stay perfect. Find a way to win is a little bit cliche. But anyways, yeah, shout out to Oklahoma for finding a way to win. We'll stick in the Big 12/SEC theme here. Shout out to Texas for doing the same thing. Quinn Ewers, don't know how bad it is, but he came out in a sling on his right shoulder after the half or in the second half. Murphy, the backup quarterback, who is an Adonis, by the way, had to go in that football game. And this is a weird one. This is a really weird one. Texas jumped out to a 21-0 win, or 21-0 start, and then all of a sudden you look up and it's 21-7. Houston's got the ball with like 90 seconds left, ball at their own 30. 2 plays later, they score. Go into the half, they get 7 points. They come out of the half. Houston, of course, gets the ball. 2 plays later, it's 21-21. All of a sudden, Texas is in a dogfight without their starting quarterback. Kudos to you for finding a way to win this football game 31-24. This was kind of the theory or the theme of this week's game or college slate, right? Bunch of really good football teams finding ways to beat not so good football teams. Okay, late in ball games as well. The only top 5 football team this weekend that was playing some doo-doo and handled them was Michigan. Okay, and they beat the hell out of Michigan State, which ain't really nothing to be talked about there. I got a couple of things. We're going to save a bunch of this analysis, guys, for this week on the show, but I wanted to hit a bunch of these things right off the top. Some general other thoughts. I got one team that we're saving for last here this morning. Washington at Arizona State. This is not a team we're saving for last, but this is one of the football games I want to talk about. Was sitting doing notes last night as this one came to a close. Classic Pac-12 after dark. I don't know if it was because it was the rain or because Michael Penix didn't wake up with big Penix energy or whatever it was. Weird ass football game. Now, again, credit everyone for finding ways to win. Washington found a way to win this football game, but it was ugly. And I don't want to sit here because this is classic case. Brooks comes out and tells you no way anybody stops this football team 20-20. Like you might be able to limit them to like 12 field goals because you're just elite in the red zone and they help you out and all this good stuff. But they laid a flat out egg last night. A flat out egg against Arizona State. And I want to say this. I think too many times we like try to poke holes in the undefeated team that's the national title contender instead of saying like, damn, Kyle Whittingham, okay, has that football program in Arizona State like every week fighting. Now they're losing. Don't get me wrong. They are losing. But that dude has that football team like extremely well coached and fighting their ever-loving balls off every single weekend. So you know what I'm doing? I'm buying Kyle Whittingham stock. Okay. And if you're not, you're wrong. All right. You know what I mean? He's 1-7. And I honest to God, think he might be doing one of the best coaching jobs in all of college football right now. If y'all watch them play, Since Jaden Rashada's been hurt, they have nothing offensively. Nothing. And he is finding ways to matriculate the football and just suck time of possession out of football teams. Shouts out, Kyle Whittingham. Okay. But I did want to save one football, or not Kyle Whittingham. Yeah. No, Kyle Whittingham's the Utah football coach. Who's my man's out here at Arizona State? Dillingham. Kyle Dillingham. Anyways, great football coach. Great social media clip that just got ruined, by the way. Anyways. So yeah, we got all kinds of different stuff we're saving for tomorrow, including that Utah game, including UNC, including Clemson, Miami, including Duke, FSU. There is plenty of topics that we're going to talk about with the boys tomorrow on the show. But I saved this one for last because honestly, I'm not trying to go like most impressive win thing or like most impressive team, but I think the most underrated football team, and I ranked them 12th last week in our college football playoff rankings. It's Missouri. It is Missouri. What an SEC football team this is. What an SEC high-quality football program this has turned into. They are balanced. They are well-coached. They are physical and battle-tested. Okay, they've won tight games. They've controlled opponents that were worse than them. They've beaten opponents that were better than them. We've seen them win nail biters against K-State. We've seen them win games with the ground or on the ground. We've seen them throw for 450 and win ball games. We've seen them week in and week out not only find ways to win, but find ways to get Luther Burden the football, okay, consistently. I think they threw for 180 yards this weekend. He had 90 of them. And you know he's getting double covered, okay? But it doesn't matter because they're so uniquely creative and how they go about getting him touches. And it's not like, oh, let's get him a screen touch. No, dude. They find ways to get this guy shots downfield. And that's like what? How are you letting that guy behind you? First of all, he's really, really good. Second of all, they're good conceptually with how they get him open. The other thing is, the more and more I watch them, okay, and the further we get along into the season, this defense is turning into what we thought they were going to be, okay, coming into the season. This was one of the older football programs coming into the season defensively. Okay, a lot of old dudes, a lot of 4th, 5th-year seniors, a lot of guys that have played a lot of starts and a lot of football games in the SEC. And by the way, they returned a lot of starters from a defense last year that was not bad. Okay, they were like top end of the pack in the SEC last year defensively. They are big, they are physical, they are fast, and now they have an identity, right? They are a football program that not only knows who they are, but they believe in who they are. That's like extremely dangerous. Okay, extremely dangerous. Okay, as an underdog opponent. Okay, when you have an underdog opponent like Missouri, okay, in a couple of weeks, going to Athens to play the University of Georgia, and can do the two things required to beat them, okay, meaning be explosive in the passing game and be willing to run the football. I think that's always been the misconception about Georgia. People think you got to run it down Georgia's throat to beat them. You're like, oh, you got to play their brand of football. No. You just got to keep them honest. You got to be able to willingly run for 3.5 yards, okay? And if you do that for 2 downs, and you live in 3rd and 3, you might be able to survive. But if you get ahead of yourself and you start playing out of rhythm, and all of a sudden you're like taking shots on 1st down, and then it's 2nd and 10, and then you go to take another shot, or you try to throw it again, and now you're sacked, and like, oh shit, it's 3rd and 14. You will die. You will die. Okay, but Missouri doesn't do that, right? Missouri does a great job of staying ahead of the sticks. Hey, I appreciate you guys for showing up here on Sunday service. This is something new here. Also appreciate you guys for showing up in the chat as well today. Yeah, the Dillingham Whittingham thing's gonna haunt me for a little while. Not long. It won't be long, but it will haunt me for a little while. Also, shouts out to JD Piquel. Don't know what you started. Don't know what you started, baby. Hey, always be competitive. Always be competitive. Strangely competitive in the oddest of ways. Okay? Appreciate you. We'll see y'all.